Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going over number 4 from page 539 because several people have asked me about it, so I want to go over it. Okay, so let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is notice that we're trying to subtract two rational expressions, right? So remember that when you're subtracting fractions in general, when you're adding or subtracting, you can't do the addition or subtraction um, unless both fractions have the same denominator. And right now, it looks like they don't. So the first thing we're going to do to make this easier for ourselves is factor. Okay, so remember, step one is you want to factor if it's possible. So I'll write it in steps. Step one, we want to factor. Okay, so let's do that. So we have b minus 4 over, now this is a quadratic, so I'm just going to set up my two quantities, and then b plus 2, and then same thing with the second denominator. Okay, good. All right, let's take a look at this denominator. If you want to factor this denominator, remember the AC method tells us that we need two numbers that multiply to -8 and add to 2. So what is that going to be? So it's going to be x plus 4, right? And then x minus 2. That would work. Because 4 times -2 is -8. 4 plus -2 is positive 2. Okay, and how about here? B squared minus 16 is the difference of 2 squares, sorry. Hold on a second. I used x, but I meant to use b, sorry. Let's do that again. So this is b plus 4, and this is b minus 2. Okay, this is b, and now this is the difference of 2 squares, so b plus 4 and b minus 4. All right, okay, very good. Step 2, hopefully you remember what step 2 is, but before we do any of the subtraction part, we have to find our LCD. So find LCD. Okay, so let's see. Find LCD. Okay, so let's take a look at our denominators, and that's going to help us find, I don't know what's happening here. Sorry guys, my computer is being very slow today. There we go. Okay, I rotated this by accident. Okay, so LCD. Okay, so let's see. They have a b plus 4 in common, so we can list that one time. Okay, anything they have in common, you can list one time. And then you have to list everything else that they have, even if they don't have it in common. So then we have a b minus 2, and then we have a b minus 4. And keep them as separate quantities, okay? Because that's going to help us do the subtraction later. Okay, so let's take a look at our fractions. So here's one fraction, and here's the denominator of this fraction, b plus 4, b minus 2. So if you look, it has the b plus 4, it has the b minus 2, it's missing the b minus 4. So we have to take this fraction and multiply the top and the bottom by b minus 4. So actually, I want to write this out so you guys can see. Okay, so I guess step 3, I would say step 3, we can say multiply to obtain a common denominator. Okay, so before we do the multiplication, I'm just going to write what we have. So we have b minus 4 over b plus 4, b minus 2, right? I'm going to leave some space, minus, what was the second fraction? It was b plus 2 over b minus 4 b plus 4, right? Let me scroll up to make sure. Yep, okay. So the reason I left space is because we need to do the multiplication part. I'll do that in a different color. I'll do it in purple so you guys can see. So we have to multiply this fraction by something and this fraction by something. Now remember your LCD, I'll put it here on the side, was what? It was b plus 4, b minus 2, order doesn't matter, and then b minus 4. Okay, so take a look at this denominator. It has the b plus 4, it has the b minus 2, so you can see that it's missing the b minus 4. So we're going to need to multiply our denominator by the quantity b minus 4. But whatever I multiply the bottom by, I have to do the same to the top to keep things balanced. So I'm going to multiply the top by b minus 4. Okay, now take a look at this fraction. It has the b minus 4, it has the b plus 4, so it's missing the b minus 2. So I gotta multiply this denominator by b minus 2, and I gotta multiply this numerator by b minus 2. Again, keeping things balanced, okay? So let's do this first, and then we do this part second, okay? So let's see. So here, the denominator is gonna be our LCD. That was the whole point of doing this whole step. So b plus 4, b minus 2, b minus 4. Okay, so just multiplying b plus 4 times b minus 2 times b minus 4. Keep them separate, guys. You don't have to do this multiplication. Okay, just don't complicate things if you don't have to. Okay, up top, this is a quantity. So this is a binomial times a binomial. So we have to FOIL, guys, because we have b minus 4 times b minus 4. So hopefully you've become pretty good at this, but you would do b times b, b squared, right? Outer, b times negative 4, so that's negative 4b. Inner, negative 4b times b is negative 4b. And then last, negative 4 times negative 4 is plus 16. Okay, we'll simplify this in a little bit. Let's put the minus sign here, and let's do this multiplication. So again, the denominator is the same as this denominator. That was the whole point. So I'm gonna write my denominator in this order just to keep things nice and organized. So b plus 4, b minus 2, b minus 4. Okay, so as you can see, b minus 4 times b plus 4 times b minus 2, that's all here. I just changed the order so it matches my first fraction. Okay, up top, oops. Again, this is a quantity, right? So we have to multiply this times this. Now, there's a minus sign too. Don't forget that. We'll worry about that in a little bit though. So let's do this multiplication first. Again, we have to FOIL. So it's b plus 2 times b minus 2. So that's going to be b squared. B times b is b squared. Outer, b times negative 2 is negative 2b. Inner, 2 times b is positive 2b. And last, 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Okay, very good. So now we want to simplify as much as possible before we actually do the subtraction, right? So let's see. Negative 4b and negative 4b, those don't cancel, they combine, right? So negative 8b plus 16, okay, all over b plus 4, b minus 2, b minus 4, okay, minus. Again, I'm going to keep my denominator the same, b minus 2, b minus 4. Okay, here, what's going to happen here is these will cancel. Negative 2b plus 2b cancels, so we have b squared minus 4. Okay, so now we got to combine these. Oops, sorry. We said this was b squared minus 4, right? Yeah. Okay, so now we got to combine these. So because now, notice, both of these fractions have the same denominator, so you could put them under one denominator. So the denominator, when you have a common denominator, we keep the denominator the same, right? So b plus 4, b minus 2, and b minus 4 is our denominator. Now we actually have to do this subtraction, right? So we have b squared minus 8b plus 16 from this first fraction, okay? But then this minus applies to this whole quantity, so we have to distribute, right? So negative 1, technically, times b squared will give us negative b squared, and then negative 1 times negative 4 will give us positive 4. All right, hopefully you're following me so far. Okay, let's cross some stuff out. So I see this b squared and a negative b squared, so these are going to cancel, right? Okay, so then I'm left with negative 8b from here, and then 16 plus 4, that's a positive 20 or plus 20, right? And then my denominator is b plus 4, b minus 2, b minus 4, and that's it. This is my final answer, and this is the answer that was on the answer key, I believe. Let me double check. Yep, that's right. And then don't forget your restrictions. Now, guys, I've seen people write x cannot be, but your variable here is b, so just make sure you're writing b cannot be, not x, because we're working with b here. If it makes you feel better, if the b throws you off, change everything to x's and then write your final answer using b instead, if working with b's throws you off. But yeah, so when I'm writing my restrictions, I want to make sure I say b does not equal. So remember, you're checking your denominators to get your restrictions. So here, you could set each piece equal to 0 because of the zero product property. So here, b plus 4 equals 0. That means that if b was negative 4, the whole thing would be 0. So we can't have that. Here, b would have to be 2 for the whole thing to be 0. So we can't have that. And here, b would have to be 4. So negative 4, 2, and 4 are my restrictions, and I'm going to scroll up and just look at every denominator at every point, and it looks like I got all of them, right? I'm checking every single denominator at every point, and it looks like I got everything. So these are my restrictions. Okay, hopefully that helped. Let me know if you have any more questions, and then don't forget to take the quiz.